Today on Nostalgic Knickknacks, we're going to talk about some Perler beading disasters and how we can learn from them. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Thanks for tuning in to another video. My name is Ryan and this is my channel, Nostalgic Knickknacks. I'm glad you're here because I've got a question for you. Have you ever been doing a fuse beading project, working on it for a long time, and then suddenly something happens, your cat sits on it, your kid just completely slams it against the wall, or maybe you yourself dropped it? Well, today's video is going to be all about looking at those project disasters, those mess ups, those failures, and seeing what we can learn from these mistakes. Because a lot of emotions comes with messing up on these projects, because you put so much of your heart and soul into these big projects or small projects, and then suddenly everything is messed up. And that's the big thing about fuse beading, is that it is very easy to mess up the project because the beads are so finicky and small, and you just flick your wrist the wrong way and then all of a sudden everything is out of whack. I've done it countless times. I actually did a video where I was talking about my mess ups, so if you want to check that out, it's up here. But I thought it would be great to look at these projects and talk about what we can learn from them and how when we mess up, we actually come back stronger. So I actually sent a message out on Facebook and just asked people to submit their Perler beading failures, mess ups, and mistakes and disasters, and I got some great responses. I've got about 5 or 6 responses that I'm going to be looking at today, along with pictures, and it's going to be great. I just want the message of this video to be all about how to come back stronger from your mistakes. And mistakes are going to happen, disasters are going to happen, but we can always come back stronger. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you to all of the people who have submitted. You all are showing some great humility with sharing these mess up projects with other people out there, and who knows, maybe these projects will inspire others to start fuse beading. Just seeing how maybe you tried it and it messed up and you're going to try again. And I think that makes a big difference with people out there who are just trying to get started with this art craft. Okay everybody, so I'm going to jump into these failed projects and just talk about it a little bit and give credit to the people who submitted. Alright, so this project, really quick description explanation because there was no picture included, but I'm just going to read this out to everybody. So Juana actually says, I literally just had a big disaster today. I was making a gift for a friend, for her and her husband with their names on it, and then what happens when she ironed it, half of it didn't take and it fell apart. So this is a case of a project not being completely ironed. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So I feel your pain there, but Juana actually said that she put it back together. So the reason why I wanted to include this is because it gives us hope and inspiration for putting these projects back together. So thank you, Juana, for submitting your mishap that happened, and I'm glad it all worked out. Good job on persevering. Okay, so this next submission is from Mary Ann, and Mary Ann was making a Golduck from Pokemon. So Golduck is the evolution of Psyduck, one of the cutest Pokemon out there, one of the Pokemon that seems like it's not too smart, but you know, Psyduck has a loyal fan following. So Golduck is the evolution, and Golduck here is looking really bad, really sad looking, all folded up. So Marianne says, I was melting it on both sides and got a little impatient, as we all do sometimes, and picked it up while still burning hot. I dropped it on the floor and it folded on itself and it fused like that. And she actually talks about another mess up on her Instagram page, which, by the way, if you want to check out Marianne's Instagram page, it's down below, pokemon.perlerart. And I just want to say, Marianne, great job on sharing this. And I have to say, this end result is quite the memorable object to keep around, just to remind yourself that this happened and to try not to drop it in the future. But of course, this cannot be salvaged at all. But what an interesting way that it folded together. Golduck was never meant to be. But you know what? We're all going to learn something from this. Don't drop your Perler art. Okay, next up I've got a submission from Kelsey Joy. And Kelsey Joy says here she was making Sun/Moon from Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't play this game at all, so I don't know these characters, but I'm sure a lot of people out there do. But this was a friend that she works with, and ended up only doing the head, but made the moon and both eyes glow in the dark. Large projects I have problems ironing. Sometimes we go to iron something and it's just a little touchy, and you put that iron on the wrong way and it just doesn't work out. And so that's where practice comes into play. And Kelsey, thank you for sharing this. A little mishap here, you know, it happens. I've been doing projects for a good while, and I mean, you know, maybe sometimes 30, 40 an hour, working on an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden I realize that I'm off track with the whole pattern. That's happened a lot. But then other times, of course, when you get to the ironing and you start ironing, that one bead pops off. Sometimes you can salvage it, but it is frustrating. I want everybody to realize sometimes this is frustrating. Now I want you to also know that you're not the only one that has had these disasters happen, because everybody's had experienced some kind of disaster with Perler beads. But I think it helps us to grow stronger, come back stronger with great art, and just little things that we pick up here and there that make the process a whole lot easier. Speaking of that, if you are not subscribed to my channel here, I provide fuse beaters with lots of techniques to get better with your Perler beading skills, your fuse beading skills. I also cover retro games and do reviews on new games as well, games that I love. So if you're not subscribed, please take a moment, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and it goes a long way. All right, let's jump into some more Perler beading mess ups. So this next one was submitted by Brea. So Brea, thank you for submitting this. This is a project that she says is her biggest project to date, biggest mistake to date. And it happened about a year ago, my first time using the tape method and flipping it. Days of work just gone in a second. It was Angel Dust from Hazbin Hotel. So I believe this is an anime. I'm not sure about it, but seems like it would be. So there's this character here. You've been working on it, Brea, for a while, and man, what in the world? This happens, and especially with the tape method. And I want to do a video talking about the tape method on another day. Just talking about it, talking about the fact that I don't do that. I do think it's good for really big projects, like Brea's working on here. But honestly, for medium-sized, small projects, even a super board size project, I iron it straight off of the board with my heat presses, so it works great, no problems. So I would recommend, Brea, if you have something like this, try doing it straight on the board, and maybe that will help you. It definitely helps me, but that's a lot of work, and the taping took time for you. So again, thank you for submitting this, because it takes a lot of bravery and humility to submit something like this. So we can all learn from this mistake, and thank you, Brea, again. I appreciate it. Okay, so a couple of submissions left and I'm gonna wrap up this video. But this submission here is quite something. And I just want to thank Stephen Rhodes for submitting this. And also I want to thank Stephen for doing an excellent volunteering task of sharing my videos on his Facebook page. If you're not following Stephen's Facebook page, it's called Perler Beads Mystery School, and I'm a part of it as well. And it's getting bigger. He just created it a couple of months ago. But thank you, Stephen, for sharing my videos. I really appreciate that, bro. And I'll also thank you for submitting this piece that I'm about to show everybody. So this piece here is a doozy. And so as you can see in the picture, beads are all over the place. This is a completely non-salvageable, messed up project right here. It could not get any worse than this. It looks like the beads were literally just dumped out of the 6,000 bead bag and just put on the board. And man, my heart just hurts looking at this picture. Stephen, this is quite something. So Stephen actually says in his response to me that this was the work of his 3-year-old. And so if you have cats, you have children, you have other animals, whatever, small people in your house, they're going to do something like this at some point. It's inevitable. So I would recommend putting that project on a high shelf somewhere up there if you can. But his 3-year-olds, he says, my 3-year-old thought that he would help out Daddy when he was away taking a break. And then he saw it after he came back, and things happen, you know. This is something that happens, unfortunately. I did say to him, I said, this is the mother of all mess ups, and this gives rage quitting a whole new meaning. So Stephen, I feel you on this, and lots of emotions you say you go through, but you know, it happens. Thanks for submitting this, and I'm telling you, the small mistakes that I've made are looking a whole lot better after looking at this gigantic mess up. But you know, I'm glad you didn't quit, Stephen, and in fact you have this great Facebook group, so thank you for sharing this with us. So the last two here are submitted by Jameson, so thank you, Jameson, for submitting. This is a Ninja Turtle. I'm assuming it looks like Michelangelo Ninja Turtle, and he looks like his head has been chopped off and parts of his body are missing. But he was going to transfer it to a more sturdy and less slidey or slippery board, and of course this did not go well. And as you can see here, is took a tumble. So yeah, so there's Michelangelo. Looks like his Michelangelo painting was not finished here. And then we have the other picture here. Jameson says, so annoyed at myself, I successfully ironed the second attempt at the first piece of this 3D space shuttle, and excited to use that Cricut they just got. And unfortunately, he forgot to put ironing paper over the project. I've actually done this before. This is not too uncommon, but when I was working on a small piece, it completely slipped my mind to put the ironing paper over the project, and I ironed it, and it was my new heat press, and I was thinking, this thing, something's wrong with it. But ended up, I did not use the ironing paper, much like Jameson here. And you know what? This actually does not mess up the Cricut heat presses at all. I'm sure if you did it over and over again, I'm sure if you did it over and over again, it may eventually mess it up or cause some kind of damage, but it just irons everything together. And all I did was wait for it to cool and then just kind of pull it up, and you have a big plastic iron mess. So you know, not the biggest of failures, but it is something that's frustrating. So I'm glad that you are enjoying that Cricut heat press, Jameson, and I know that the rest of your projects are going to be absolutely amazing. Alright everybody, so that does it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed looking at these fuse beading mess ups, these disasters. I'd like to do more videos like this, so if you're interested in sending your disaster to me, please send it to the email down below and I will use it in a future video. As I said, I think it's important to look at the failures so we can have more successes as we continue in this art craft of fuse beading. Thank you again to all who submitted. You are all heroes in my opinion, and it takes a lot of guts to send it out and to let the world of YouTube see that. So thank you, I really appreciate all of you. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more fuse beading content or hear me talk about retro games, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I put out a couple of videos per week and I really enjoy doing it, and it's a lot of fun having conversations with all of you down below in the comments. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. I pray that you have a fantastic day, and until next time, keep your beads on the boards, and happy beading!